We will call the TREPO meeting for February 7th, 2023 to order. If you would please stand for the invocation. Wayne Sellers will lead us in the invocation.
Our Father in heaven, Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for this neighborhood. We thank you for this family that we have around here. We just ask you, Lord, to keep blessing it. Bless this neighborhood and we'll watch over us. We'll be with us tonight as we jump into these issues that we have before us. We just ask you to lead us, make sure we have the right things, that we know what we're dealing with, and we can use all the information and put it to good use for all the neighbors, not just a few. And we just ask you to be with us the rest of the night and watch over us. We thank you so much for all this, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. We'll turn to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you, Wayne. So now we'll move on to roll call. Hilda?
Glenn Hunter.
Here.
Tom Trammell.
Here.
Vonda Ackerson. Here. James Baker.
Here.
John Bryant is still sick.
He's John's ill, as he called this afternoon.
Sammy Keene.
Didn't hear anything from Sammy. Did anybody hear anything from Sammy?
Tommy Matthews.
Here.
Rick Poem.
Here.
Kathy Riker. Here. Wayne Sellers.
Here.
Charlie Thompson.
Here.
Carrie Hester. Here. Mickey Olson. Here. Victoria M. Here. Hilda Gilchrist is who I am. Bill Brim.
Here.
Judy Brim. Amanda Cartwright. Mike Davis.
Here.
Stephanie Watson. Okay.
Didn't hear anything from Stephanie either. I'm wondering if she didn't realize that maybe the date was changed
Yeah.
also.
Yep.
So-
Yep.
She's been traveling too.
Okay. We have the roll call. Board members request to approve excused members.
Make a motion
Or-
to excuse
Second. You're excusing which
the
members?
excusable members.
Excused members.
Excusable members.
Okay. We have a second. Second by Mr. Trumbull. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to the agenda. Board members, you have a copy of the agenda for this evening.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Charlie, second by Wayne. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. We'll move on to approving of the January minutes. Hilda?
The one correction needs to be made, or has been made, but it wasn't in the printout, which was the draft. Ray Berner is with an E, correct?
What about me?
Okay, so I made that correction. Everything else, any questions?
Are you down on that one line?
Yes.
On line 7, you put,
Or are you gonna comment on
line
that?
7 noted he or James Baker motion to approve. I think you left out, but we were not members in December.
Oh, right. But, yep. All right. No.
Yeah, December we were
That's
not.
true.
Which I did correct. Okay. All right, I'll add that.
I can see it both ways because you did say it. but at the
Anything
same
else?
time- Huh?
I appreciate you all being so diligent about reading all these damn notes.
It's better than the news these days. So do we have a motion for
hang
for the
on.
minutes?
A couple of us had question about on page 2, towards the bottom. Hey, Sammy.
Okay.
It was noted, Jesse Crane noted that we can control whether or not Airbnbs are permitted. That is his opinion, and we have not sought legal advice on that. Do we want to allow that to stay, or do we want to strike it? And that was the discussion a few people was having on that.
All right.
Pleasure of the board.
Well, I missed some of that. What was?
Can you restate that, page 2?
So a few people had concerns that on page 2, it says Jesse Crane noted that we can control whether or not Airbnbs are permitted. That is his opinion, and we have not sought legal advice on that. So do we actually want it in the minutes, or do we want to strike it?
Maybe,
Right.
but it's an opinion, it's just an opinion, I don't see that it needs to be in the minutes.
Agreed.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we strike it.
Uh,
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll strike that. And just to go forward, there is a committee that will be starting as soon as we tidy up the key issues for this year. They will be starting in probably the next month, and begin to start working on the Airbnbs and our process and our steps. We will be working, moving toward legal counsel to work with and through that. So, but that will be a board decision. That time we'll bring it back here and discuss it at our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
The members is all, the group is already formed,
Yes. Just, we did say that there's too much activity going on to take that on right now with all the keys.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, so anything else? We have a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes pending the changes that we discussed.
Have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tremblay. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we'll move on now to Secretary's report. Hilda, do you have anything to report?
No, I did mention to both Wanda and Terry, who have been working incredibly hard on lots of things, that I'll be getting a printer, so at least they won't have to print the minutes. I will do that.
Okay, that's nice. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll move on then to the Treasurer's report. Vicki?
Okay, did everybody get a copy of the treasury report for today? Since we're changing our meeting date, Carol's not able to put together our P&L and all that for this meeting, but I went ahead and went through our records so I could give you something tonight. I printed our bank statements as of January 31st. So in our main checking account, the balance is $46,138.52. In our regular checking account, which is for our new membership, we have $50,742. And then our savings, which is an emergency fund, is $50,034.81. So our total is $146,915.33. So I went through what checks I wrote for the month of January, and the only exceptions out of the normal business is we put rock at Fishing Park, which was $240. We paid our liability insurance, which was $2,563.26. We paid for invoices to be printed and mailed, which was $1,053.41. And we had a refund of a payment on a couple of dues for $205.34. Our membership account, which has the online payments plus the ones that come through the mail, I deposited in that account. We deposited $47,105 last month. The ones online were $33,210, and so the total was $80,315. On January the 23rd, I made a transfer from our regular classic checking account to our business account that we use as a working fund for $40,000. That was to bring up our balance for normal business to be written. Any questions?
Board members? Go ahead, Charlie.
Just a comment more than a question. This looks great. I just noticed under membership account, you hyphenated to make it stand out. My concern is that later on, somebody's going to ask to see this and make it look like it's a negative. I don't want anybody to think that's a negative balance.
I see. No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, up above that is all the account numbers.
Right. I just don't want anybody to misread that in the
That's
future.
a good point. Thank you.
And that being said, I make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report.
We have a second?
A second.
Second by Vonda. Motion was by Charlie. Is there any discussion on the finance report, treasurer's report?
And I had a couple other things to tell you.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Vicki, any other items?
As you all know, Drummond is closing and reopening as Seacoast Bay. That takes place on February the 13th. I've been in constant contact with them. We have a representative at the Williston office, and I have her direct number. And we've spoken on several occasions, and we spoke yesterday, and she says, it appears that our account numbers won't change, they'll stay the same. Most of our business plans, the way they are now, are gonna map over to a different plan, but they'll try to keep it as close to what we have now, so that there's no monthly charges. We'll keep an eye on that to see if it maps over correctly. And our online access, of course, is gonna change. Instead of going on to Drummond.com, it'll be under Seacoast. So I'm gonna have to figure that out after they go live on the new one. So we'll just stay on top of it. As far as we know, everything should transition over smoothly.
Yeah, that's a good report. I appreciate you getting this together, especially being ill for the last week or so. It's very
10 days.
helpful.
I agree. Great job.
No, but who's counting, right?
Appreciate that.
Vicki, do you have an extra?
Huh?
Do you have an extra report? Copy still?
I can give you one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have mine, I'm working on it, son.
There.
Okay, so Vicki, is that,
I colored in the zeros.
There's my notes on that second one too.
does that conclude your report? Okay, so we'll move on now then to President's report. Terry?
Okay, I don't have too much. So on the membership part of it, we really need people to send back their membership application so I can mail out these keys. I don't know what the issue is with people mailing them back. I've mailed out hundreds of them, and I'm still sitting on the keys, and I just wish the community would get them in the mail so I can send out their keys.
So you're having an issue of getting the membership form itself
Renewal back, yeah.
so that you can then officially give the keys out.
Yeah.
Okay, just so the people know that they're maybe watching
I
now.
mean, they can come to my house. I've been letting people come to my house, fill them out, and get them their keys. I've had, they've probably 40 or 50 come over this week. So I just wish they would do that. Another thing, we're gonna have a spring blowout on March the 25th. We're gonna have hamburgers and karaoke 12 to 4 for the membership.
That date is when?
March the 25th.
March 25th, okay.
12 to 4. We're gonna have hamburgers and chips and drinks and stuff, karaoke. Yeah.
It's my birthday.
And April 22nd, we need to start getting.
Your birthday party.
And April 22nd, we'll be getting ready for the fish fry. We moved it away from the date of the
Catfish Festival.
Catfish Festival in Branford, so we don't have to compete with
Sure.
them. So we moved it toward the end of the month, which will be April 22nd, we'll be doing the fish fry. And next month, I'll have more about the price and stuff.
So April 22nd will be our fish fry, annual fish fry, which
So
is a little
mark
bit different than normal
calendars.
for timeline. Go ahead.
Because we always run into the Catfish
Right.
Festival. Does anybody
Great,
have
great
a?
idea. I think we had that problem, we discussed that last year.
Yeah, but it's not ready.
We're gonna be going out of town. We've kind of planned everything around the first of the month, so.
We'll eat
we're
your
gonna be
fish
on
then,
time.
that's fine. That's fine. More
Thanks.
for us.
I'll take your
Yes, thanks. This is serious.
Terry, you got anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Terry. So we'll now move on. Any board members have anything of the president? Okay, we'll move on. Nothing? Okay, we'll move on then to park manager's report. Bill?
As you all can see, the month's been quiet, and I've been able to get a few projects done around here. I was able to work with Vonda about the storage shed out back, making more room for them to store their stuff.
Looks really good.
And I'm gonna have they had wanted to put a bathroom in there years ago, apparently. But I'm gonna have that pulled out, so that'll give us a little more. So if Vonda uses up all that space that I've already made for her,
Yeah.
I'm making some more. Now,
Hopefully
no, wait a minute.
Doghouse.
You sexual? Oh, Lord. One thing I'm gonna need to figure out is if we wanna put electric out there or not. That'll be between you guys. Decide on that. And, one thing I need to figure out is if we wanna put electric out there or not. That'll be between you guys. Decide on that. And, one thing I need to figure out is if we wanna put electric out there or not. That'll be between you guys. Decide on that.
I think you need to make a recommendation and why would be the best thing to do. You and your committee that's working on
She
that.
can have a flashlight.
A flashlight's fine
Okay,
at this point.
this is all good to go out there. Let's see, the one in, the chairman, I went over and looked at part of the Swanee side. And that bathroom there, I would suggest, it's not leaking so bad, the toilet in the women's room, which I brought up to y'all before, it's not so bad that, all that stuff needs to be replaced. All that plumbing completely.
Nasty stuff.
It's nasty and everything, and the filter needs to be put on the pump, so at least knock some of the rust out. I know it ain't gonna get all of it, but, as the toilets and stuff they run, because they're leaking, that rust just continues, and, we need to tidy it up. I was able to help put a rock over.
Were you able to bring that up in the building meeting? I was a little late getting to that. Did you bring that up about the Swanee bathrooms?
No, I didn't. We didn't go get that far. We were
Okay.
working on other
Okay.
projects.
No problem.
I know that's one of the things that we're gonna do though. And, we helped put a rock in it, which was, on Treasury Report, over at, Fishing Park. And there was also some barbed wire there that'd been there for years. I cut that all out so it would make it a little bit safer. That rock, it will probably do. I think one day we're gonna find out we're gonna need to put it up on it because these guys have tried jumping it, and all that. But the other one, it's a heavy rock. Let's see, there was a person camping, that came in off the river. I've caught this a couple times. They come in off the Santa Fe River into Brennan Park, and they don't have a key or anything. And it's usually at night, and I'll walk down there and I don't see them until I get to fairly close because it's, where the water's been digging away. So they'll have a fire going down there. I had one gentleman that was in a kayak, and he was out in the water, but his fire was going, and I was yelling at him back and forth, from shore. And I asked him who he was, was he a member, and all that stuff. And he said, "Well, I'm just going to go up over to the Columbia County side." I said, "Well, that's fine. I just, if you have a key and all that, that's all good." But first of all, the park, and I told him the park's closed at dark anyway. And those are that's one of the things that I came apart. And I've had a couple times I've had people down there staying real late. I'll go out real late sometimes, just the gate will be open or something. And if it is, I'll walk back there and see what's going on. The boat ramp park on the Swanee side had a broken lock. So we bought a new one, had it installed by our handy dandy welder, and it was quite expensive, but we got it taken care of.
Right.
And let's see. Oh yeah, I've been talking with some of the folks over there on the Swanee side, and they have mentioned to me that their Wi-Fi is down, and it's been down for quite a while. I tried to pursue it a little bit more a couple days ago, just so I could give you guys more information. Apparently, whenever the cameras went in at that park, they had put their own antenna up there of some sort. That's missing, and they can't. They used to be able to get Wi-Fi down by the picnic tables by the river. They don't get that, so they wanted me to ask the board about that.
Charlie knew about that because we talked about it before.
Yes, we did. We're going to be putting another unit closer to the water.
Okay, I told them I'd bring it up.
I think you had said you were going to look to see if you had that.
Yeah,
old
that old
antenna.
one of the part of it was broken, so I didn't see it anywhere. But yeah, so
Yeah,
I think it probably got thrown in a dumpster.
more than likely. That's all right. No good, no good.
So
Well, it had several antennas hanging off the side of it, one of which was broken, and at the end of the day, you put your equipment on a structure that did not belong to you without permission. So if I put my equipment on your house, you can throw it away. So
Well,
So the problem's resolved then, maybe in a better fashion if you're gonna be.
Yeah,
located-
we're gonna resolve it in a much better fashion to make sure that we have better coverage down at the water.
Do you have any idea of a time frame on it? Cause they ask me, every time I go down there, they ask me the same thing.
You must be on the board.
I must be.
Chairman of their board, Swanee County Board.
It'll be this month,
Okay.
if that helps.
Oh, yeah, that'll help.
I don't have my
That's good
schedule
enough.
in front of me, but
That's good enough, as long as they, you know, they have been asking back for
Well,
some time.
we're in a very good position now to do it, so
Yeah.
with
Yes.
cameras and everything in place, so. Okay, go ahead, Bill, go ahead.
I'm sorry, not to bring up another bad subject, but just while we're here, I remembered the ceiling fans.
Yeah, I thought about that.
I mean, Wayne and I will pick them up if you want us to buy them.
We're not, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Well, we had asked months ago about picking up some ceiling fans to install on the Swanee side under the pavilion.
Okay,
Yeah, cause it gets pretty hot sitting
And I
down
figured we
there.
could get Nathan, who does a lot of our maintenance stuff on the Swanee side, to put them up for us, but.
I would suggest buying the best you can find for there. Get out- Not
Yeah,
like what
'cause
we have
outside-
out here.
Outside, if they're not made for
We
outside.
got
they
one
certainly
in,
won't
we
last.
have one in the shed, but it's like that one. And I would suggest you do some research, and I could help you with that if you want.
That would be good, Bill.
To come up with the best we can get, because we don't wanna have to mess with it.
Yeah, you can look into it.
Well, the members on that side had asked for it back in the summer when it was so terribly hot.
Hey, you know,
So if we could do that before spring, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
okay, I think y'all had
That's
already
when the bugs get
been
bad.
discussed, I think they've been discussing that, so let's just go ahead and get
We'll
it done.
work
We
with
got
Bill,
plenty of
how's
time
that?
now, that's great.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Bill, you wanna finish up, go ahead and continue your report?
Yeah, but what, Wi-Fi, oh yeah, we were able to, go out and shore up the signs on Utah and on Pope Road or, Wilson Springs Road. Put 2 pieces of rebar, we dug way down, put 2 pieces of rebar in each post, a foot, and poured in 3 bags of sackcrete in each hole, watered them down, drank it. You know, it's gonna take, a few people to get them out of there.
You need to go check over at Wilson Springs
I did Wilson Springs.
today?
Yeah,
Today?
today.
Okay.
This
And you
morning.
did it after I came? I know, but we knew he was gonna do it. No, because when I came by earlier, that's what, she's like, where are you? I was like, well, I came the other way because people complained, so that's good. So you've done that since I saw it this morning.
And were you able to put a level on it?
They were, let me tell you what, they were plumb when I left, okay?
All right.
Just put the level on top or bottom. Now we need it on top.
Well, they were straight as I. They looked just fine. I don't know, I'm not, interviewing, maybe I'll get a job with you.
Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Tommy's got a level on.
Okay, the parks have been fairly quiet. Just a reminder that the parks close at dusk or dark. I've had people say, what does dusk mean? So at dark. Members have also come to me with concerns about people coming in after midnight, early in the morning. And I'm suggesting that if they see that, maybe if they could just, I don't know, just write it down, the time, and possibly, a description of the vehicle. That way I can get with the board, and we can look at that time if there is a camera in that park. Otherwise, we need to be able to track the folks that are going in there.
Which park is this?
Mostly it's been at Point Park, and there's still some people going in at Midpoint, but not as many, not at all. I talked to Paul about that. And then the camping park, I found people, went around late, but other people that lives right next to it has asked me to check into, because people are going in way after midnight.
Well, on Point Park, would the cameras pick that up even in the dark?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if we do need to get them to get us the time, because I don't know, we run checks all the time unless there's a,
Yeah, the neighbor has told me that,
that's correct.
camping park is pretty regular, mostly with, ATVs, after midnight. you know, so. I just told them, people to write them down and submit them to the board, and the board can,
It's much better than it was, and I think your presence out there is helping in,
Oh,
and
that's-
the
yeah.
public's awareness is helping a lot, so it's gonna be a progress, we're gonna
yeah.
be making progress.
I think,
and
like I
go
said, I
forward.
think things are going real well. These are concerns that people have brought up, coming in the parks early mornings. Dogs in the parks and the Wi-Fi at the boat ramp are the only ones I have this time. So that's it, thank you.
Okay, Bill, thank you for that report. Any questions of Bill?
No, but I can tell you that as far as any night vision, that lock that was broken at boat ramp Swanee, we do have very good video footage of the gentleman that broke the lock, slammed the gate back against the pole, and we know what he drives, what he looks like, everything about him. So
We know if he's a
Yeah,
member.
we've taken care of it.
Okay.
It's taken care of, 100%.
But the cameras pay for themselves.
Yep.
they do.
Absolutely.
So the cost of the lock was reimbursed by the gentleman?
Everything's been recovered.
Yes.
Okay. All right, maintenance committee report. Bill, I think you pretty much covered most of the issues that we have with maintenance in your report because you work hand in hand. So we'll bypass the maintenance committee report and move on to communications committee. Vonda?
All right. So with membership, Terry has been working tirelessly, and Nikki, getting the keys out, getting everything organized, the money to deposit, get everything doing. I didn't get there yet.
Oh, okay.
We'll do that in a minute. And the key stamper, he's been very busy too, and you'll see why. So let's start. So our membership numbers for the Columbia side, we're at 516. The Swanee side, we have 178. So as of right now, we have 694 members. But there's more, because we know some have come in through the mail. I mean, there's more coming, but this is what we have processed at this moment, totally processed. But I do encourage anyone that has not picked up their keys yet, has not had their keys mailed, it's most likely because they have not sent that form in. So let me diminish the rumor. People think that by signing that paper, you're signing your life away or your property away to an HOA. That's not it. We've asked people to sign that form, just saying that, just acknowledging the fact that you do know that we have bylaws, restrictions, and covenants. Because a lot of new members don't know this. So how do you go through and pick out who's new, who's not, who knows, who doesn't? So that was kind of just trying to get people's attention to see that this is what it is. And if you haven't looked at them, go on TREPO.net under the documents, and they're all listed there. And I encourage everyone to read the bylaws, so you kind of know what you're talking about, or can kind of decipher for yourself if what you're hearing is true or false. What else? Okay, so while we are on the keys, I would like to ask the board to consider, because we sweated out getting the keys this year. I think we ordered them the 1st of August, and poor Mr. Keaton, they didn't think that they were going to get the keys in time. We almost had to put off our key day. And then it put him kind of under the gun once he did get them, because then he had to actually cut the keys to get them to us.
And that was because of the shortage on brass,
Yes,
right?
yes, it's a brass shortage.
The
He
company
said-
the company sold also.
Yes, and he said no matter who, I mean, we could order through a different company, he said, but they're all supplied by the same supplier. So I would like to go ahead and order the keys for next year now, because we may not get them till the end of the year. And they're the same keys that we're using now, so they wouldn't be cut, they would just be sitting with the Keatons, just blanks. So they wouldn't be cut until we're ready next year, at the end of this year, to start processing memberships. And we'll be going back this year to where we're sending the invoice out in October, and then we could start sending the keys out once they're processed and cut. But I think we need to go ahead and place the order now, and if they come in early, great, and if they don't, we'll figure out another problem.
Same as $8,000 or $9,000 in that range.
Between 8,000 and 9,000.
But
And the other advantage too is if you order them now, you may get them at a better price than waiting
Right.
another 6 months to order them. So
It was very, very close, on them coming in. They
yeah,
really
we thought
did-
we were only gonna be able to cut one key per
Per
member.
membership. That
And
was,
then go through the whole membership and then
Right.
go back and have to recut keys, which
However, the
would have been a
key
nightmare.
committee did a great job
Yes, they
getting
did.
it done, and so did
so,
the
yes,
Good
yes.
job, y'all. Good job.
So we're coming in a lot, heavier than we did last year, membership wise, with this being only February 7th. Like I said, well, I'm sure we'll have, it should increase quite a bit, so then you're wondering, do we have enough keys? So Keaton does have a few that he said he did hold, did not cut, but they're our actual keys he could touch and we need them.
So let me propose something, then you're recommending that, or your committee's recommending that. It's already in the budget, so we really just need a consensus of the board if you feel comfortable in doing it now as opposed to waiting till June or July like we have. So what's the feelings? Is there anyone opposed to it? Do you have a reason for that? It's okay if you do. So is the board pretty much together on ordering the keys? Okay, then I would recommend to the committee go ahead and make that order. Yes, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, these keys are stamped, and you guys had to do a lot of work. Is there something else that we can add to the responsibility of the key person or contractor? The stamping of it? Is there a
No,
reason-
because we don't, because you may have a member that's not gonna renew, so we don't need that key cut if they're not going to renew. So that's where we have to kind of,
Pretty much do it on demand.
yeah.
Very
Because then we've got
difficult.
keys sitting there that can't be utilized and they're expensive. Did you have?
Yeah, with, brass shortage, we don't ask to recycle the keys.
We have a bucket, we left a
Don't
bucket
the old
here for anyone.
keys, wouldn't that help towards the brass shortage? No.
You would think so. We do have a bucket that we're collecting. Anyone that has extra keys, we're putting it in there.
We should encourage them to recycle. Okay.
And I
We did
think
on
the
key
company
day.
that purchased it, this company, the one we used to use, is foreign. So unfortunately, we have to deal with that too.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
It's not China, so thank God. Yes, Sammy?
Is there any way, I know I've done it on houses before, but taking the same keys, cutting the notch in it, changing them to tumblers, and to save the keys from last year, or if everybody would turn them in to give them a incentive to do that, or that's $9,000 a year, that's a lot of money.
It is.
Putting in, you know? What do y'all think?
I think it would be, Sammy, it sounds like a great idea, but when you start herding all those cats, that's gonna be tremendous.
Yeah.
Put all that, I mean, it's gonna take a lot of effort by someone or a team to put that together. That's my opinion.
And then what about the ones that don't, turn theirs in?
Don't turn them in at all? I mean, yeah, but we would still gain instead of lose. I mean, if we don't lose that, gain that much, well, I mean, it's worth a try. I mean, all you have to do is take that and you put new locks on them anyway, so for the new keys, so you can take the tumbler, and you can put it on there where new knocks go in anytime for houses and change it, same key, but it's got one notch that is different than all those.
So who would cut the knot?
Huh?
Who would cut the notch?
Anybody with a, you just have to get a master key and throw the key up there on the,
So you're saying when they come in to pay, they bring their old key
Old keys back.
and we cut a notch in it right then and hand them that same key back to use?
You could do that, or you could just go back, no, that would take too long, but you could go back and just keep the keys till next year and then have them already done. Instead of full stack up for a year.
I used to do locks when I worked for a while at Home Depot, and it's not that hard to change the tumbler like you're talking about. It's easy enough, they make a kit that you can, the only thing I would be concerned about it, it's so easy, and, there's a few people around here that would figure out how to cut that notch. You know what I mean?
Well, you do it for free.
Yeah, I know, I'm just,
But the tumbler and the locks, you're getting new locks anyway, so you can buy new locks later.
Well, Well, that's what Keaton does, is they come out and change the tumblers
Right.
in all the locks.
Right, okay, so it's the same thing. I'm just thinking $9,000 would go, or even if we got half of it, $4,000, that's a lot of savings for, a lot of improvements we can get.
Yep. But you gotta give them an
And then
incentive.
they've already got a number on it.
Yeah, it is,
It
but
might not work for next year.
So do we have some, I guess, we were in consensus of ordering keys. So there is some debate on potentially going and making a change with that. I don't, Sammy, you're my good friend, we're good friends, I just don't,
if we
I
had
think with all-
200 members, it would be easy.
It would,
Yeah.
not this year, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not now, but maybe go ahead and get the new keys this year, but for next year, and then we can
maybe
start.
we can explore that
We
with,
can explore more of it, I'm
Right.
just thinking.
I mean, if it could be done, but it's, I just see that as a
It's
serious
hard enough
headache.
to get new keys out.
Right.
Okay, so, everybody good? We're gonna order keys for this year and discuss it more next year.
Yep.
Okay,
Just a couple more rumors. Bill is not making $40,000 a year. That was just in the budget, what was asked for. Board members and officers are not paid, we're all volunteers. What else? HOA membership, or whatever you wanna call it. You call it PLA, call it whatever, Three Rivers. It is mandatory. It reads in the bylaws that it's mandatory. Tripo's never enforced it, is I think what it is, but if you do read the bylaws, it does say that, they can put liens on the properties, and we're not doing that. We just encourage people to join, to pay your membership, but whereas it is mandatory, the only time, if you go to sell your property, you would have to catch
it
up.
doesn't give you a clear title based
Right.
on what's been filed.
So, that was it.
Okay, any questions of the communication committee, board members?
Oh, I know one more thing. One more event we've planned is April 1st. We're going to do Easter egg
I
hunts.
didn't know it was that long day.
It's the only day in April we got.
April 1st.
It's the Saturday before. It's the Saturday before Easter. Because I think it would be too much doing it the day before Easter
What is that, Mondo?
with Easter egg hunt
Oh, okay.
for kids.
Hey, you may have adults picking up eggs.
So-
Cost of eggs these days.
Well, as Tommy always used to say, the adults won't be able to remember where they put them. So that's a big problem with the adult Easter. Okay, so anything else, Vonda?
That's it.
All right. So we have 3 dates then. We have an Easter egg hunt on
April 1st.
April 1st, and we have the March 25th
Fish fry,
Spring blowout.
spring
Spring
blowout,
blowout.
and the
fish fries.
fish fries on the 22nd of April. Okay, so now we'll move on to new business, and we do have one piece of business. Amanda Cartwright sent us a note, and she's going to resign as an alternate. She's got some extended family commitments and business, and she's just not going to be able to make these meetings, and she felt like that she would be letting everyone down to not do a 100% job. So she asked to resign, and so that would take one person away from our alternates. We have a pretty full board, and we've got 3 alternates, so I wouldn't think we'd even need to think about replacement. We'd be in very good shape as we are. Any board members have any thoughts or comments on that? All right, well, we appreciate Amanda's short tenure on the board. So we'll now move on to old business, and the project priorities. We'll have a committee report and discussion. Yes, Rick?
What I'm under new business, if I may.
Sure, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Oh, no problem at all. We have a problem with the production of the newsletter. It's really late for a number of reasons that I won't go into. But the last issue was in May of last year. That's 9 months ago that we've been without a newsletter. So possible solutions are discontinue the print newsletter, publish information in those articles that were in the newsletter on the Greco website. There might be a possible economic benefit to that. Secondly, we could publish an electronic newsletter, which, instead of a print newsletter, which would be distributed to members via email. And, or third, appoint a newsletter managing editor to oversee the editorial production cycle on schedule. Karen Fonz used to have that position. She did a wonderful job for years, and she's retired, and there's been kind of a vacuum of oversight and management of the newsletter for the last 9 months. So I would move that the Communications Committee study these possible solutions, and I'll be glad to be a part of that effort. I'm a contributing editor to the newsletter, and return a recommendation to the full board.
Okay, Vonda, you'll accept that to do?
Yes,
So-
we need to find someone, I believe, that will take on that job and make sure that everything's in on certain times. I am overextended.
So as far as editorial, it's just going over what's there.
You're just making sure everybody has submitted, Susan does all that.
There's a template.
We need someone to stay on top of everyone and let everybody, these are the deadlines, we've gotta have it. If I don't have it in the morning, it's going without you. Pretty much,
But what I've
Also,
seen, what I've understood, because I've heard this story before, and I've seen Susan's emails back to you, is that really she's very busy. So, and she said in her last email that it would be a huge cost savings to just go electronically, did she not?
she did
Yeah,
mention
it would,
that, right.
because,
I'm
so.
just the opposite. I like print myself. There are people that don't have computers and whatever. And there's some things.
How
that-
about, do you go to the TRICO website? If it was on the website as newsletters, would you look at it there?
My arm is twisted, I don't do that.
We'll twist your arm.
But we do have some
It
people
would be
that
big
don't have
savings.
Tommy, do you get the New York Times? Okay.
the technology.
Wall Street.
Anyway,
Go ahead, Rick.
One thing I read is the obituaries.
I understand.
Look, it sounds to me that the Communications Committee
Yeah.
already has their hands full.
Yeah.
I would volunteer to serve as a committee of one, to come back to the board with some recommendations with the help of Kathy.
I think that would be a great idea.
I will say that as far as an electronic one is concerned, I set that up about a year ago. It is ready to go. There are a lot of emails. In fact, most of the community is already in there, and we have more to go that we could add in there. But that was set up. In fact, I actually talked to you about it about a year or so ago. I set it up back then, and it is ready to rock and roll. And since you have all that experience in newsletters and stuff, I think that you would be a very good person to handle that.
So we could let the committee of two and a half go forward, right? Is that right?
That's right.
We'll come
Okay.
back with a full
That's
report
great.
next board meeting.
All right. That'll be
It would be
good.
cool if you had members that could choose if they want to get an email or if they insist on getting paper copy. That would
Or
be-
if they can go to the website.
I mean, we do have members though that don't have
Yeah, we have some
computers,
that don't
don't
have
go on the
any,
web.
All right.
Let me ask you a question, Charlie. If somebody sends you an email of the newsletter, can't you just go to print and print it?
Sure,
out?
absolutely.
Okay. It's just that easy. I mean,
I would pull it up on my phone anyway. I don't even go to regular.
I can't stand to read it on the phone.
Well, you two can get together.
But if we did go electronic, maybe we
Read
could
each
have.
other.
I'd print it out, is what I would do.
Yeah.
But we could have an option for any of
Yeah.
our members that, if we did go electronic, that we could do some type of a condensed version, and had to be long and drawn out, of mailed out. I mean, I'm sure there wouldn't be that many, but
When they renew their membership online next year, can they check a box that they want to get their newsletter by email, or is there some way to do that on the membership screen?
I can make that happen.
And then that way, that would be that many more that you could weed out and not.
Why don't we let the
labor cost.
committee of 2.5 bring something back to us, and we'll discuss it then.
Committee of two and a half.
All right, we'll put that,
You know, communications with the membership, and that should be our first priority. And I yield back, Mr. Chairman. I always want to say.
okay, yes, Tommy?
Just a tip on something to put in the newsletter is, I had a member approach me about our dues increase. Says, damn, I didn't know those keys cost so much. Why do I have to pay some-" you know the story.
I hear it all.
And so what needs to go to the public is what the money goes for. Mows the grass. Got a park manager, got guards at the gates and stuff like that. I'm just a tip for the 2.5.
Okay, Tommy, thanks. We're gonna move still further down the road after we hear what Kathy has to say.
I'm sorry, I have to do business because I have to report from the dog committee.
Well, we have you on here, under old business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Here we are.
we'll come back to you then. So now we'll move on to the project priorities, and the project committee met yesterday. Tommy, you want to give us a report?
Yeah, we met, two things we were talking about. One was remodeling this area, this clubhouse, so that we don't have an L shape, and these people over here can see these people and vice versa. And that would involve maybe eliminating that bathroom and that office. And so we've got some ideas, and we'll talk to, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to the building department of what we can actually do. And
Short-term and long-term, right?
Yeah. And so, and then the other part of that was, while this remodeling would be going on, we need a place to meet. We got the pavilion over there, and I've come up with a little design to improve that. So that's something we're in discussion with right now too. So anybody got any questions about that? That's the easiest thing.
Are you referring to getting that ready before you start on this?
Yeah, getting that ready before we start on this. And then we can move over there and start having our meetings, and this could go wide open and get it done.
So you'd said the committee would go ahead and go out for some bids on the plan for the pavilion.
Yes.
And the plan for the pavilion was one that we would be able to take the picnic tables out, and there would be a shelf and a seat. And so you could turn to eat, or you can turn to view, and you probably could get 3 times as many people under there as there are now with the picnic tables that are there. It would be a much,
Pass
there,
the picture around.
just a little idea of how it would look, but you could
That would go around.
literally
the perimeter.
face the outside and have your food turn back around and sit and face just like a picnic table, but it's more functional. And it would be on the extreme edge, and there'd be one passage on the second opening, one passage that's open all the way through. And the other part of that too, Tommy, I think you were going to go ahead and just fix the west end, the wood and the top.
Roof problem. We were just going to take that lean-to off and get trusses that would match what's existing there, and bring that roof on out to the end.
Right, and
Make
repair
more
the
covered
floor.
space. So that's an easy fix over there.
That would
This
also
is
be
a little
more
bit-
functional for the picnics too.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Any more questions on that? So you'll bring some bids back for the next meeting, is that correct, you think?
I certainly will try.
Okay. All right. Anything else on projects? All right, we'll move on to pets on property. Go ahead,
Okay.
Kathy.
I have it all right here. We had 2 lengthy meetings, and we were considering having dogs in the park, up to and including creating a dog park for the members to use. And after discussing our ideas with the insurance company, the committee determined that creating a dog park would be too great a liability for the community at this time. particularly since we do not have the resources or manpower to properly monitor it. We unanimously agreed that the rules already in place regarding dogs in the parks should stand as is, with one addendum that all dogs should have current rabies vaccination, tagged, visible, or in possession of the owner while at a designated park. Those rules, the rules as they stand, can be found within, for the parks at treebo.net. They're there. But that would be one addendum as far as vaccinations is concerned, because that's even a greater liability.
So, any board members?
So you're saying, if they have all those, they can use any of the parks?
Well, they have to be, the rules are in place, or they have to be leashed. It's 3 parks that I know of. I think you have a certain number, but I know the 2 boat ramps, 2 boat parks, and fishing, is it camping too?
Camping.
Yes, those 4 parks. The dogs must be leashed, and when they get to the water's edge, they can take the leash off, they can get in their boats and go.
Let me correct you on
The
that.
boat ramps are to get in the boat.
The boat ramps are only to get into the boats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that needs to be written on a sign, that the dog needs to be leashed. But there's still a concern that people they think they can go to all the parks with the dogs on the leash. There's only really, on this side, there's 3 parks that they can actually bring their dog to. Camping park, and it's a fishing park and bridge park.
Right.
And they need to be on a leash. On the other side, over on Swanee's side, there's no dogs allowed to be down there. And it,
They're not allowed at boat,
To get on the boat?
well, to put them in, that's what I'm getting at, is the signs
It's not
do
in the
not.
rules that they're allowed. It's understood that if you wanna take your dog and put it on your
On a
pontoon boat,
yeah.
that you can walk them down there on the leash
And they
and
have
put
to be
them on the
on the
boat.
leash.
And that's what I'm struggling with
Yeah.
folks, they'll see, well, if they're on a leash, but that's assumed by a few people. Everybody else thinks that they're allowed to have their dogs down there, and that, they're always down there. I mentioned it to them, I said, the sign's right there, would y'all please follow it? And so if you're gonna make your changes, and my suggestions, let's make the signs so that they follow what your changes are. So that makes it a lot easier for people.
And essentially, as it stands, it's really the vaccination is the one other thing.
That's the main one, yeah.
We think is important.
I think so too.
So is the committee prepared to write that up so that we can amend that to our rules and regulations?
Okay.
Let me just say something. I was given this a couple of years ago. It's policies and procedures for TREPO. It looks like it was adopted May 7th, 2018. And it's got all of that in there about the dogs, and it's got a bunch of stuff in it.
Rules for every park.
But I don't know if it was actually adopted.
It was.
It was adopted.
It was voted by the board, because I was on that committee. That was.
Okay. Well then, if it's adopted, Charlie, can we put this on that computer thing?
Sure,
There's
absolutely.
You know, the word,
There's
send you the
something
wording about
that
the
needs to
vaccinations.
There's something on the first page.
Sitting out of the room.
Hang on.
diamonds.
Let me look something up.
Why don't we review that document and bring it back? Let's review the document,
Who you want to review it with?
the communications committee, and let's review that document and bring it back to the next meeting to,
I've got it on email, but there's.
Why
make
don't you
sure
give
that
it to
it's,
Kathy?
and we will officially take that
See
action
this?
with the changes apparently there's some changes for
Actually,
the dog park.
This was
Or
written
dogs.
as a confidential
Yeah.
document for board members to
Right,
follow
that's what
for
I'm saying.
policies and procedures.
But we
so.
do need to take like the park rules out and
Yes.
making something available to everyone, because
Yes.
it's how to process memberships.
Exactly, so why don't we
Yeah,
do
pretty
that?
detailed.
We'll delineate between the two, and then bring it back as and then we'll post it.
You gotta take it to the skip, where you can,
Do you want to do
Yeah,
that?
you gotta
Not
sign
anymore.
in.
you gotta
You
sign
can
it,
do
you
that,
can't
just
take
go
it out.
through, if you would do all the parks and their rules, something, and then we could post that, so.
With the addendum.
It's
Review-
generally on there,
review
but yeah, with
this.
the addendum.
Okay.
So we just need clarification, and the
Yeah.
board can take that official action
Okay,
and put that with it,
all right.
okay?
I'll get you to prove it for me, Rhonda.
Is everybody clear on what we're gonna do?
So she needs.
Okay, is there any further discussion
I'll send
on
her
the,
that.
dogs on property, or pets on
Here.
property? Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I just heard was, I can't use parks. I can't kayak with my dog. The only 2 parks I'm allowed for my dog to swim at, still after all these meetings, are the 2 parks that nobody can get to the water at. My gimpy ass can't get down to the water, and neither can my dog at camping park or at fishing park. It's impossible. So, and now he says that my dog's not even allowed on Hodar on a leash to get to my boat where I put in at regularly.
No, that's not what they said. They said if you wanted to take your dog on your boat or down to the water to get on your boat, you can leash them to the water, walking through the park.
Okay, well, that's
But-
what I do.
Yeah, but it's not like
But
stopping
as
and
for
letting them
swimming-
play.
As for swimming, the 2 parks that you say I'm allowed to bring my dog
Huh?
to swim freely,
Not in Hodor.
The boat race.
you can't go to.
Not Hodor. I think there's some misinformation.
That's what I'm having.
So,
We've got mixed information.
can the committee clarify for,
You know, but I also,
Well,
I
Ray was
went
on
for
that.
He
2
was on the
weeks.
committee.
Every single weekday, I went to every one of these parks during the week, multiple times during the day. I saw a total of 5 people at the parks. 3 at Hodar, 1 at Point Park, and 1 at Boat Ramp. And the one at Boat Ramp was there with his dog swimming. And he didn't drive there, he walked there. And he says he's been bringing his dog to swim there for 20-something years.
Boat ramp.
So during the week, there's nobody at these parks. Why can't there be a couple of parks to where I can bring my dog to swim?
I can't, I wasn't in the committee meetings. I think y'all,
we unanimously decided to go this way.
We talked with the insurance, we had the insurance.
Yeah, we called the insurance company.
And Ray was there?
And the insurance said there was nothing that, they said if there was nothing that would prevent us from having it, and that was a dog park. We never talked to the insurance about just having our dogs swim there. I don't care about a dog park.
Yeah,
I just want to be able to go in the water with me and my dog.
yeah, the issue is if there's an incident, if we make a dog park and there's an incident, more than likely our insurance is gonna cancel it. We won't have insurance, according to the insurance.
And we don't need a dog park though.
So.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I wasn't in that meeting. I'm not sure where this is going.
Well, the first meeting
I'm
we
sure where
talked
this is
about
going
the
wrong
dog
because
park.
you delineated this to 4 parks. Is that right? And
Well, we said we were gonna have the rules stand as they are for the parks that,
Yeah, whatever the,
with the rules stayed. That was the
Yeah.
decision. And I understood it was unanimous.
I don't remember having that part of the discussion at all when we adjourned last Friday.
Well, I think the biggest issue is the insurance liability, because the company has made it very clear, you do what you want to do, Trepo, but if you ever have an incident, you're done.
That was on
And
the
that
dog
really
park.
puts us in a very
that was
bad
with that.
predicament.
I don't care about
dogs
a
at
dog
parks.
park. Nobody cares.
No, and they're
But-
not talking just about a dog park, they're talking
Yeah.
about if you allow a dog in your park to get to the water and there's an incident, we can
Then-
cancel your insurance.
that's if
So-
we
That's
put
what
it in
really
the
boils
rules
down
to
to,
allow.
yes. That's what it
Right.
boils down
I
to.
didn't hear that. And that's just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, if the board
I'm
approves it,
responsible for
it's
my
a
dog.
rule.
Well, and we
Yeah,
understand
we
that, but.
understand.
I know, I do feel for
And
you.
there's a lot of
That was-
people that
That
are.
was the decision we made at the end of the meeting.
I don't remember hearing that at all, but that's fine. Doesn't matter what the members want anyway, so this will be my last year as a member. Have a great night.
Oh, well.
Yeah, the biggest problem is if we make it legal to let the dogs in and out of parks, and we have an issue, the insurance more than likely would cancel.
well, the problem is by
If
making
we
something
don't-
legal, then we've got to put in place a way to manage the health of that dog and the density of the people around it. If somebody gets bit, you're gonna have
One
a
of the things-
situation.
One of the other things that was asked was, we don't have the manpower to monitor.
We don't.
And then when they do
We
say
allow
something to people about the dogs, They won't follow them anyway, they tell me.
Most people, yeah, it's gonna be hard, this is an issue, just like
They're
the
ignorant,
others.
and they don't care.
And if you remember last summer, we already had an incident where there was a gentleman in the water, there was a dog at the
Yep.
park. He felt very intimidated by the dog, he couldn't get out of the water, and I think he was a handicapped individual.
I have it on
And it was a huge
video.
blow up. Luckily, the man didn't get bit, he didn't have a heart attack in the water, but it was a huge incident because it happened at one of our
So,
parks.
your committee met,
No, that,
y'all did, y'all
We
approved.
talked about what parks were acceptable, we discussed this at length,
yeah.
Okay.
and that was the decision. we made.
So, you're gonna bring that back in a written format so that we can, approve, that with the changes.
Well, actually, the only change at all is about the vaccinations.
Okay.
That's it.
But
At the parks where they are allowed.
Yes.
it needs to be in there because that gives Bill some teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Kathy,
that was unanimous.
Yeah.
so,
That's
we're gonna
what
leave
happened.
it the way it is with some of the three parks that are allowed, and, we're not gonna do anything with Swanee, we're not gonna add that into it, because there says no dogs, you know, over there. So, you know, there's gonna be, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be a lot of upset people, and I'm gonna have to deal with them, which is, I don't have a problem dealing with it, but I gotta know that what I'm saying is set in stone, and
We
that's.
didn't change.
Okay, let me let Mr. Trammell speak, he had asked speak just a month ago.
I guess more of a question, but I just wanna make sure we're clear on this, because I think I heard Vicky say something contrary to what I thought, but there are no dogs allowed in any park in Trepo, except for those that have been designated,
Service dogs.
with the exception of service dogs. Now, what constitutes a service dog? And how do you prove that's a service dog? I could put a vest on mine that says a
You don't
service
need a
dog,
vest.
you know? Huh?
You can only ask them, is this a service dog? And what is this service dog trained to do for you? That's all you can ask.
Okay.
And they usually have a card.
But Hodar,
But they don't have
you
to
can't
check, you
even
can't
walk
ask
your
for it.
dog, you can't walk your dog there on the leash and get in the boat. I mean, it's only those that you have, designated.
And by you designating them, or a board designated, you put yourself into the caption of what the insurance company said. If something happens, even at those parks that we've designated them at, if something happens, a dog bites somebody, or that kid would have drowned out in Point Park, we own it, because we designated it that it was okay.
That's the reason
Is that
we
what
decided
you're-
to stick with the regulations
As
that,
it is.
as we have them written right now.
Are you all okay with the vaccination inclusion?
I think the dogs ought to have that.
Yeah.
Well, they're supposed to be vaccinated anyway, we just want to have
It
them.
is.
State parks do that.
Do you understand?
Okay, Hilda?
So if I heard Ray Gerner's concern though, if he could prove that his dog was a service dog.
Yep.
He could get his dog into the water at Hodor, is that correct? Where he wants to get into?
They
So-
are allowed as if they're service dogs.
So we need to make sure that he's aware of that. Maybe his dog can still be trained to be a service dog. The other
We
thing that I heard
discussed all
him
of
say.
that during both our meetings. I don't know what happened tonight, but we all
Yeah, he was-
unanimously
Don't worry
agreed.
about it.
So the other thing that I heard him say is something that I don't believe, because I've been to fishing park and camping park and boat ramp park, and I know you can get a dog to the water at all those three
Yeah,
parks.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his issue was there, but I mean,
I think he seemed confused that he couldn't even get into a park for some reason or other. He seemed to be confused with
so
it.
anyway,
Yeah.
I hate to see him storm off.
Me
I
too. And he
think,
wanted to use Coder, but we discussed all that.
okay.
Discussed it at length, and he was like, came to the determination
Yeah,
that,
the
yeah,
only
this is
thing
what we
that-
gotta do.
Only thing that come up about odor is, I know they've had discussions on putting the kayaks, having a different location for
Right.
them getting in and out.
Right.
When they do that, then that dog issue could be added to that, to get them in their kayaks at that time. But then that's a different location than the swimming
Yeah, but
area
it
at
might be
the
a
park.
different gate.
That would have to be something.
There's no way to control a second gate.
Okay, so let me just say this, the committee met, y'all all agreed on what you agreed on, so can we ask you to get that written up?
Yeah.
we'll get it together with, whatever we're gonna separate from rules and regulations or policies and procedures. And, then we'll get that approved at our next meeting. Is that good? Okay.
You want me to take that? Yeah, I can see that by this time. Oh, here, this one's for you, this one's for me.
Okay, so, we finished with our business tonight, then, so we'll move on to, comments. Anyone in the public like to speak to the board?
And if you want to
Yes.
speak, could you please give your name and your address? Thank you.
Jesse Crane, Texas Range. I was just curious if we ever got our IRS not-for-profit status back.
I don't know, Carol's not here. Do we have our not-for-profit status back?
With the IRS.
We have 1120H. I'm not sure about the not-for-profit status, that we can utilize that for sales tax. Is that your point?
Well, you can also give, yeah, I mean, it's, officially recognized by the federal government that we're a not-for-profit status.
Okay, we'll check with the accountant and see what the status on that is. We did have that filed for the first year, for the 20-year, and supposedly the 21-year, and 22 would be coming up now, but it's gonna be an 1120H form that we file with a single page. That's what the accountant has recommended to us, and that's what we're doing. If you see some other means or whatever, let us know, but that's the direction we're going. Our accountant says that we're not eligible to, not pay sales tax
Why is that?
as nonprofits.
We used to not, we used to have the number to do that.
We've always paid sales tax.
Always pay sales tax.
There's two different
Since I've been on
kinds.
the board.
I just looked it up. According to the Florida Division of Corporations, Three Rivers Estates Property Owners Incorporated is a Florida not-for-profit corporation.
Right, that's what the state of Florida is.
But we do pay sales tax. There's two different kinds.
Yes, because there is a difference between non-profit and not-for-profit. And that's
Right.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Anybody else want to speak? Yes, sir.
My name's Tim Dockery. I've been a resident, well, part-timer for 12 years. Finally retired. I'm here in the winters now. I'm the dreaded snowbird that nobody likes. For the last 3 years. First of all, thank you all for everything you do. I've been, nothing that exists. I've been on committees many, many times in my long life. But the only question I have, and I'd like for the board to think it over, is I've got a major question about telemarketers. I've got a major question, and I've mentioned this a time or two, and I'd like the board to take it under advisement and give it a lot of thought. Being a part-time member, I'm here in the winter, but I bought my place for my employees, my friends, and my family. And this having to be accompany your guests and stuff, that's not gonna work for me. I'm here in the winter, my friends, employees, and family comes here in the summer. That's not really fair for a lot of us that are part-timers to have to accompany our guests down here and for to say, no, you can't go in the river because Tim's not there with you. That's not what I think the spirit of the law should be about. And maybe y'all should come to some sort of understanding that maybe we could give a list of our guests and our family so that when you go to check in, I'm here with Tim Dockery's key number and I'm guest so-and-so, and you could go down your list there at me. But to arbitrarily say, no, Tim has to be there with you, that's not the spirit of the law, I think, and it's not very productive. It creates a lot of hard feelings. So give it something to think about and maybe bring that up.
That committee has discussed exactly what you're saying, and they are reviewing that now.
Excellent.
Thank you, Tim.
Could you give me the spelling of your last name, please?
Dockery.
I got it right, thank you.
Okay, yes, sir. What's your name, sir?
David Lopez, North Drive.
David Lopez?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I rent right here on North Drive with the option to buy. I've been renting here for
What's the address?
1643.
On what street?
Newark.
Newark, okay, Newark, okay.
So I rent here. I've been almost for a year now. I'm about to purchase this place. But I've never received a letter or invitation to the meetings, or even, hey, we're gonna be passing the keys or whatever it is to go to the parks. I was given when I first moved in a key, but that key never worked. And I went to, to the actual owner right now.
Who gave
That's
you
a
the key? Who
corporate-
gave
It's
you
a
the keys?
corporation, it's a corporation.
Pardon me?
It's a
Corporation.
corporation.
The corporation that sold it to you gave you the key?
Yes.
He's renting from.
He's
I'm
renting.
renting from this
He's getting
corporation,
to buy.
and I'm buying it from them.
Okay.
So,
I'm just,
okay,
Let me have Fonda address that.
so as of now, yes, the corporation can get it because you're a long-term renter. They can do that for you. But they would be the ones, if your key didn't work, they would have to come to us since it was under them. Once you purchase this property, you then can bring us a copy of your recorded deed. You then will be receiving everything, you
okay,
know.
so
Right now it goes
me,
through
I never
them.
pay the dues and get a key?
The corporate, whoever's name's on the deed is the person that would get the key. So once you purchase it and your name's on the deed, then you show us a recorded copy of the deed, and then
you can
you're
become a
eligible to
member.
be a member.
So at any time during the year?
Anytime once you close it could be if you close on the property in
Yeah.
November, yes. There's not like a certain, so once your name's on that deed, you bring it to us and we can accommodate that.
Any time of the year.
But that's why you haven't gotten newsletters or anything else, because it's going to the person's name that's on the deed and their address.
And it's because it's a bulk mail.
Yes.
Sure.
We do
Probably
have
so.
it, treco.net, do you visit that?
Yes,
Okay, good.
just recently, I found that out.
Well, good. Well, welcome, a belated welcome to the community.
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Christine Richard, fairly new owner of the 440 Southwest Albany Terrace. And my brother is here helping me do some renovation, and he has more information about what's going on with the property right across from me, which is actually, I don't think it's part of Three Rivers, it's the 10 acres that were owned by a gentleman by the name of Steve, I don't know his last name. It's recently been sold to new owners, but maybe most of you are even familiar with Steve. He's kind of a bum who just
He's been around here for years, 20
hanging
years
out.
or so. He used to own that property a long time.
Over the curb?
Yes. He sold his property to these people last year, but now he's continuing to live in that easement there. There's, I guess, leave that property in her property.
Is that a power easement?
There's a power easement. He's continuing to live there. He's trashing the place up. He's literally riding a 300 or 600 foot extension cord from her house into the woods. So he has power. He comes over. I mean, we stop that, okay, but he's still coming over and getting water out of her spigot. He had stole cat food from her porch. Yeah, but our question is he trespassing on that easement? Who do we need to see who
Probably
trespassing?
code enforcement, because there's no home.
That's gonna be Duke Energy.
I mean, you guys don't have anything to do
No,
with
it's
that?
not the power line, it's the.
Yeah, that's where he's at.
Well, he is also right there, where Southwest, where Albany
Yeah,
Terrace
that road, there's supposed to be a road there.
doesn't, that
But
is
it's
not.
not there.
Okay, it's a lane that's been platted, but it's not been utilized.
Right.
Yeah.
Code enforcement that he's camping on.
I mean, if you look at the map, it says there's.
What road do you live on, or what street?
Newark.
Newark.
440 South Albany.
May I make a suggestion to
Albany
you?
Terrace.
That's pretty much out of our hands as far as being able to regulate that. You have a county commissioner here, you have a sheriff's office that's here, and you have code enforcement. If he's living on a piece of property and he has no right to be there, you've got a bunch of things going on with what you've got.
Well, the owner that owns the property now is, actually has I don't know what he would call, a trespassing thing with the sheriff listed,
Right.
So, when we've called the sheriff, every time he comes, he runs through the woods, so he's not actually there. So
I know where this is. It's at the corner of Copperhead and Albany Terrace there. I've seen the gentleman walk up and down the street.
Oh, is that back through those woods on the right side of the curve?
Yeah, you make that
Correct. Where Albany and Copperhead go together.
It's right at the corner of that?
Is his name Ray? Is his name Ray?
Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray.
We know him.
Keep on calling the sheriff's office.
Yes. He frequents.
Ma'am, come here, please.
We want you to look at something so you can show us. We've got the map pulled up. Or he could, either way.
Yeah.
He used to have a bunch of junk.
So here's Copperhead and here's Albany.
There she is, this piece of property. This is her.
Okay, that's the one that has a little piece that comes up the front.
And he is Copperhead. Where's Albany?
This is Copperhead.
Albany's here. So Copperhead and Albany.
Yeah, what that is this is her property. He's right here in the woods.
Kathy, sent me a picture of
Right here?
that we're living right here.
And that's her,
No,
her
here,
property.
over here. He's over here in the woods.
She was concerned
Okay.
about it.
Oh, I see the easement. I see the-
Okay, we're having
that's
a
county
nice
property.
conversation, everybody. So,
Christine,
The people that own this house now, they have some kind of a judgment
Ms.
against it.
Richards, when you called the
And they
sheriff,
told us to call the sheriff if we see him there. But we've done that a couple times, and he just runs through the woods. I mean, so they can't find him.
but if he's running through your property and
He's
you
running
can
through
take,
theirs. These people, he runs over, he knows, he used to
so
own that
he's
for
staying
years
off
and
of your
years.
property.
yeah, he did.
He's
About
staying
5 or 6
off
acres
of
there.
He owned that for years, and then he finally just sold it over a year
Do you have any suggestions for these people?
I was just talking with him about it.
And I've had, the night before last,
Get a camera.
yeah.
And he's taking gas.
Okay, let's get the meeting back to order.
All right,
Thanks, sir.
so we got the county.
Well, we appreciate you bringing that to our attention. And,
Possibly.
we
That's
go ahead.
what that's what he's asking, is like the county, the sheriff.
So right here is actually county property where he's staying. This, because all this is, for the roads and everything. So it's county property where the guy's at.
Okay, so he's actually, yeah, don't think they want him sleeping on their properties.
So this is.
Have you ever talked with the county commissioner down here?
No, well.
I would go by Mr. Ford's house, where he lives, right there in Fort White. You can get his phone number, you can call county commissioners. Yeah. Just call 755-4100. Thank you. She's going to ask them to get you in touch with your county commissioner. That's the operator. She will get you in touch with your county commissioner, which is Rocky Ford. I think we're going to get her right. We just need to have sit. All right. Is there anyone else wants to address the board? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Tommy, motion, Tommy.